Hello and welcome to episode 76 of When the Flames Go Up, the ATFC podcast. Tonight on the pod, Tuesday night as we record, so there's games happening now. Aldershot are playing Basingstoke, Rochdale are playing York, so things will probably change by the time you listen to this. This episode, we've got a panel of myself, Ian, and CJ discussing the weekend's defeat at home to Forest Green Rovers and looking ahead to the aforementioned Rochdale away on Saturday. We have a little bit of time to talk about the Free Up campaign at the end as well. The kickoff on Saturday will be kicking off 3 minutes after 3. Just want to mention ATFC women going strong in Division 3, 7 wins out of 7, a 1-0 win over Pace FC most recently. So if you need some goals and some wins in your life, get down there on Sundays. The kind of one to mark in your diaries is the 7th of December. They're at home to Havant, who are their kind of closest rivals in the title chase. They've won 6 out of 7. They actually lost at the weekend to... Go on, you're going to test me, are you? Well, I'll have a look, actually. They lost away to Woodbrook United 4-3. The week before, they won 7-4. Strange result. They were only 3-1 up at half-time. Crazy game there. So yeah, get down to support. Obviously, I'm not sure if we've got an upcoming rec visit, but I mean, that would be the one to do, wouldn't it? For their title chase. The other thing I was going to mention was I loaded up Football Manager 2019 because I like the past. And just wanted to reel off 4 names for you. And just honestly, just hear them. Let them come over you'll hear them in the air and go, oh, have you ever heard of these players, for one? That's okay. That's like the first bit. You probably will have heard of them. Secondly, can you spot them? Can you envisage them in your head in an Aldershot shirt? 3, did it happen? There we go. So at each one of these, do the 1, 2, 3. Chris Smith. Like, who the hell's that? Reece Grant. All right, we get it. I've heard of him, sure, but did he ever play? Sounds like a Football Manager regen. Luke Howell. Sounds like a PE teacher. John Goddard is just a player that played for Woking. He can't have played for Aldershot. I refuse to believe it, but apparently he played 18 times. Completely passed me by. I've never seen him in a shot shirt. So there's that. So if you ever want to feel, and also Jerry McDonough is in that team, and left such a sour taste in my mouth that I've refused to play him. He's stuck in the reserves at the moment. So maybe I'll keep you updated. Depends how it goes. Marvin McCoy is the other one that I was just like, can't spot him. Can't remember what the hell he looked like in an old shot shirt. So if you've got any more that you just think, who are you when you look back at old squads? I don't know if you do that as much as I do, because I actually spend an ungodly amount of time looking at old squads. Anyway, that's enough for me. Enjoy the episode, and we'll be back again next week. Up the Shots. So Shots have slipped to their what feels like they're about their 10th 3-2 defeat of the season at home to Forest Green Rovers on Saturday. It makes it. Here we go. Brace yourselves. 5 straight 1-goal defeats in all competitions, 7 league defeats in the last 8. Shots have now conceded 3 or more in 7 out of 18 games so far this season. I've got to the end of my stats, really. Okay, but they're big. They're big. They're quite weighty stats. Yes, obviously it was the Remembrance weekend, so the display for the 12:30 kickoff shown on DAZN. Ultra also used their 3rd kit for next year in the centenary year on Saturday, a kind of green khaki number. So that was used. That was interesting because I feel like every podcast we've put out for the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's been some news the next day, and that was last week's news, a new kit being used. We tried to kind of start the record immediately and start talking about Forest Green, but we still got sidetracked. Started talking about the mistakes already, so I'm gonna We're just gonna have to try and start again, try and uh, find those little points again. But CJ, I'm going to come to you. Um, how was watching that first half in New Zealand?
Um, yeah, it's just really bleak, isn't it? Like at the moment, it's just hard to watch. Like we're not what is our style of play currently? I was just thinking about this before we came on, and I was just trying to work it out. Like under Tommy, we had you could probably say two, three ways to score. We'd either go long, direct into Kwame, and he flicks it on, or we'd build through in a wide space, or we'd get it into Barrett or Stokes or whoever's behind the striker, and we'd find a way. Where at the moment we just look lost everywhere. Like going forwards, in like the midfield just looked non-existent. I can see why he took Tetek off. I can see why he took Frost off, and Jackson, and it made a big difference. Nightingale was like class. Like he looked so much better than everyone else at the back. Like even the new lad Inward, he gave the ball away for the goal and for the third one. So with a shanky clearance. So you look at it and you go, and we don't even know who our goalkeeper is at the moment. Like who is the starting keeper? Obviously, Pat Nash has been in goal now for the last couple. Is that now a set thing? I'm not saying he's doing a bad job, but he doesn't he doesn't fill me with overly confident when he's stood there with his small frame and it looks like he could barely touch crossbar if he stands there straight like half the time. And then you look at the goals that like teams are hitting at us, and they're going over his head. Like Forest Green could have had two more probably in the first half. We had maybe one or two chances to put it right, but it just doesn't look good, and it actually it's hard to watch. It really is hard to watch. Obviously Jackson's mistakes were horrendous. The throw in that led to I think it was the second goal or an opportunity or something that was bad. It just, like you can sit here and you can just look back and you go, well, that was horrible, that was horrible, and you could just reel them off on your head. It just doesn't look good at the moment. I can't imagine what Coleman's going through, because if he had hair, it would fall out because the stress that he's under at the moment is probably a lot. I understand now. Like a few weeks ago, I was quite adamant that relegation's too soon to talk about, but I kind of get it now. It kind of makes sense to me that. And you listen to the pre-match chat with Coleman afterwards, and I don't know whether it was purposely cut short when he gets to the point where it's we need six or seven out the building, and then they cut it, or whether it was literally a editing error, as it was stated online. But yeah, it doesn't look good currently, and we are missing Barrett so much. I think Barrett and Hill are literally the two who create stuff in our team, and without them, and this is the first time as well, really, since Barrett's come in that we've actually not had him in the team regularly, and we're struggling to score goals. Obviously, I know we scored two against Forest Green, but you look at the two goals we scored, and one's a little jab that's fell to Gilligan, and the other one was off Kwame Thomas's Swede that he probably knew nothing about at the last minute. He was expecting a cross, the deflections come, and it's hit him in the forehead and hit the net. So it it was a great finish, and I'm not taking it away from him because the reaction time to do it, but we just don't look like scoring. Ryan Jones looks out of ideas. It looks bleak. It looks real bleak.
Yes. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I was going to mention Brian Jones, who I think we all agree we've been kind of missing him while he's been out. I do feel like yeah, he had his number. I think it's Tom Knowles, their right back. Who just completely had him on toast. I mean, he was taking it past Brian Jones with ease. I think he nutmegged him at one point. Like took the ball off him, nutmegged him. Um, I think he really met his match. And if that's our kind of best attacking option against one of Forest Green's players, I don't think we're ever going to really test them across the pitch. I mean, Ryan Hill seems a huge mess on the other side. I mean, whether that's his best position or not, I think that's the best in the short tenure so far of Coleman, the best position that I've seen him in, or most comfortable. So yeah, I don't think Frost really asserted himself in that position. And as you mentioned, yeah, so Jackson, Tetek, and Frost both, all three pulled at half time by Coleman, which used to be, I mean, a triple sub at half time used to be absolutely like that's an abomination performance. Like that's the most you can do. but you still get two more. Can't believe. I mean, I know I probably say it every time in the stands, but I probably don't say it on the pod. It's absolutely insane to me that we have five subs and how much time it takes. I feel like I don't watch any football in the second half. I'm just constantly watching players walk 45 yards off a pitch, and I think we need to do something about it. If that's the only thing, the last thing we do in the National League before we get relegated, we need to sort out five subs. Um, what else was I going to mention? Yeah, the editing area. I think Louis Fell on Facebook kind of completed the sentence. It's mental that he's having to do editing of our interviews. Shows you what's the kind of grace period after the previous media manager left before the next one's in. I don't know when that's going to happen. So it just all adds up at the moment. Ian, I'll come to you. I mean, what was your worst mistake of the 90 minutes for you?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I feel very gloomy about it all. On Saturday, I was just sort of watching from my space and just think it's just too easy for Forest Green. And there's, texting with mates when it went 3-0, and they're all sort of support different clubs that have been in the National League or National League South, and they're like, yeah, come on down, it's time for you to join us in the South. And I said, yeah, you could well be right that this is finally the year. We've not won since the September the 20th, only 1 point in that period. And yeah, I can't pick the worst mistake of the three. It's very difficult. And also is watching the other chances in preparation and what they hit the post and they hit the bar as well. That you kind of want to be a little bit generous in that, say, yeah, Forest Green seem a pretty good team, but I think we just made it far too easier for them. And then when we did get it back to 3-2, which was kind of out of nothing, then we failed to make them wobble, did we? I think Forest Green looked fairly comfortable from that point onwards. That there wasn't any particular chance or difficulty we made, and it could have been more likely to be 4-2 than it was going to be 3-3.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they did or what we didn't do in that period. I guess normally when scorelines go from 3-0 to 3-2, there's just like a swell of pressure and intensity from the other side, the side that's coming back. Um, I couldn't spot anything like happening. Nothing seemed to change. There wasn't like an extra run or an extra player bombing forward, or I don't know what you previously, because it's hard to remember what Bury at home was like, other than Danny Hilton running on the ball, because there was like fever pitch at 3-2. There was like we could do this here. There's a chance, but it never. I mean, I don't know how that. Maybe they quelled the pressure by keeping the ball. I mean, but
yeah, the atmosphere on Saturday was very, very flat. And the other thing was that when it was got to 3-2, it wasn't like you had only a couple of minutes left. There was 20 minutes left. And I was like, oh, well, we're back in it based on it's just one goal now. And you think, well, yeah, if we get some momentum, then yeah, you'd have other games. But it just, the whole ground just felt particularly flat. And I don't put that just down to it being the early kickoff or the remembrance game or anything like that. It's just, too many recent games, I think, where we've just been sort of worn down by the individual mistakes and the here we go again type resignation. Absolutely. I think.
Yeah, the here we go again. I mean, I think in the post, which I think it was in John Coleman's like BBC article, it was just kind of an offhand sentence like Aldershot have been fighting relegation for 6 of the last 7 seasons, and it just, I think then when you think about this current season, I'm like, not another one. I mean, I can't do it again. But it does feel like that is just the natural course of things. We are either going to finish 19th or eventually get relegated.
But this one's like more concerning of all the recent seasons, because at least last year we had long periods without a win, but you were picking up enough draws along the way or playing well and losing that you felt like it would be okay. Whereas we don't feel like we're playing well, and we're not, scrapping for a solitary point here and there. It's really concerning. And the other thing was that what I said the last time I was on, that we hadn't made the most of the fixtures against the teams around us. And now we've come into this horror run of playing teams at the top, and it's even harder now to sort of find our way thing. And it's also quite an unusual, like the table's quite stretched already. Normally you've got, say, 10 teams within a couple of places, but I think we're at 6, so it's only 4 from 6 at this moment in time. Of course, there'll be 1 or 2 that might drop and lose some form like Dagenham did last year, but yeah, it's already, it just feels like everything's conspiring against at the minute.
Yeah, and I suppose, if we get into that point where we're kind of like, let's hope 2 teams drop off. We're already clutching at straws ourselves and saying, well, I don't think we can do it on our own. But yeah, like you say, I mean, we're 6 points adrift of Gateshead in 19th. I actually don't know how we're not in the relegation places. That's 2 weeks in a row where we've been goal difference, just on the edge, and teams around us or below us have failed to get the points to go above us. But yeah, the only thing just mentioned there, I'm just struggling to think of the last few games. I mean, obviously we had the Dorking game. We can't think since Tommy's left where we've had sustained pressure in a game for like 15 minutes where you think we could score it. And I know you mentioned about the flat atmosphere. I think the East Bank, especially in the second half, if you get 10 minutes in their half and you get a couple of corners, you get a couple of throw-ins, that's what gets things going. But I think generally people could see that probably the goals came out of a bit of nothing as this kind of half mistake / deflection through to Gilligan, and then they've given away a silly free kick on the right hand side that we've managed to convert. But
I think the only
sustained pressure.
The only period where we sort of been on top in the home games anyway was the first half against Tamworth. And then it's almost like with that back pass mistake where Tamworth equalised just before half time. Ever since then, there's just been nothing to really cheer about or be sort of positive about.
Yeah. Oh God. Back passes, eh? Back older shots and back passes to the East Bank end. Aaron Brown. Oh. Great. Well, we'll try and park Forest Green Rovers at home. Hard to park it when the next game up is Rochdale away. They're playing tonight, so unlike our opposition at the weekend, who had 9 days off from their last game, Rochdale will have 4, and we'll have a full 7 plus a few hours. So I mean, I don't know. It's the opposite of what John Coleman said in his post-match, talking about an early kickoff and having a Tuesday. Obviously, we had extra time the week before as well, so lots of minutes in players' legs in a stretched squad. So I can understand his frustration, but probably not an excuse to be completely dominated in the first 20 minutes, because we should be tiring the last 20 if we're the tired ones. So yes, Rochdale are the opposition at the weekend. They're away to York tonight as we record. They are 2 points off the top, so it could be top by the time we play them. They've got 3 games in hand, so they'll play one on tonight. The remarkable thing about Rochdale, they've only conceded 8 goals this season, which is 6 fewer than any other team in the National League, and joint second with Manchester City, behind, of course, Arsenal, who I think have only conceded 4 in the league. So that'll be, in the top 5 leagues, those two, and Rochdale. Only lost 1 home game so far. Have won 9 out of the previous 11 games. They've drawn to Woking and lost 2-1 to Halifax at the time. That 2-1 loss to Halifax was the home game that they've lost. And you could basically reel off the entire 11 at this point, and probably you'll have heard of them. Manny Diasaruvi has got 11 goals so far. Devontae Rodney has popped up with 5. Alarak Kia, he is. I think he ripped us apart last year in my birthday Rochdale away game. And on the other side, Adebayo Rolling. So they've got kind of a front four that score goals and set up goals. And then at the back, you've got Sam Beckwith, Ryan East, and Ebanks Landell. Sorry, Ebanks Landell always used to be the guy to go for on Football Manager when he finally got released from Wolves. Don't know why you need to know that. Okay, CJ, come to you. Can you find any positives, and what are your thoughts ahead of Rochdale at the weekend?
Just ahead of Rochdale, we've got Basingstoke Town tonight in the Hampshire Senior Cup, and they've just
Down at
put
the
the team
Winkle Brew.
lineup out, and they've got Dewhurst in goal. We've got Frost, Anderson, Penman, Vaughan, Mullins, Nelson, Abrahams, Claridge, Penny, McMillan as starting 11. So it looks like Mr. Nash will be in goal again on the weekend. If this is the redemption story for Marcus Dewhurst to come back. And Tetek's on the bench as well, and then it's just filled with youngsters. But it's obviously Claridge, Penny is good to see them back. But we got defenders back now, so the excuses that we haven't got enough players at the back can sort of go. Like everyone's sort of fit and available, give or take. But yeah, so just thought I'd break that in that we haven't got that much for a rest. We got a big game tonight that we need to worry about and try and get some sort of trophy, because I think the FA Cup's out of the question now, and FA Trophy don't probably doesn't look like we're going to be competing on that front again. But yeah, so ahead of Rochdale, again, like we spoke about it before, and I'll keep banging it. I think Woking is the big one, and that's the one we need to focus on the most. That's the one that the players need to be getting up for. Do I expect anything from Rochdale? No, not at the moment. Like, it's so hard, unless we see like Barrett pop up. I think Barrett coming back will be a big boost for the team. I think the supporters will get around that. Just having him backing around the squad, his energy, his attitude, I think his character and stuff as well. Whenever he's around, the atmosphere seems to be lifted a bit because, like Mark White said on the Bunch of Amateurs episode, he can make something out of nothing, and obviously he proved that day. And that's not the first time. I know that's a managerial conversation. Having spoken to Tavon Campbell, they did a big thing last season about Barrett ahead of us against for Yeovil. So, like Rochdale, they're so hard to beat. Like if they don't win 1-0, then you'd be shocked. Really, like they just seem to be quite defensively astute at times, and they know how to score goals this season. I think that's the biggest thing that they've probably struggled with in recent years is them and Halifax. Halifax always seem to be a 1-0 team as well, and like you look at Rochdale and you go, well, they can score goals now, and you're like, where do we score goals from? You look at our squad at the moment, and obviously we were talking about it in the chat the other day that Abrahams obviously hasn't hit the ground running like we wanted him to. Kwame, he just does what he does, holds the ball up, links up, battles defenders and stuff, but he needs players off him. We haven't really got that at the moment, and you look at our like front four, five that we're sort of playing with at the moment, and you just look at it and go, they're just so lightweight. Like Ryan Jones is quite a lightweight player, Kibon Rise is quite lightweight, Tyler Frost is a battler and stuff. He gets around, but again, he's quite lightweight, and you're just missing that. Abrahams is quite a big stature. Kwame is quite a big stature, but they don't really. Kwame probably does it more, but they don't really use their size and physicality enough. Like I spoke about earlier, what is our style of play? Are we the big man up front and holding it up and bringing players in? Because we're not doing that very well at the moment. Are we the team trying to play through the thirds? Because if we are, then we're not doing that very well either. So what is the style at the moment? I don't know if Coleman's trying to find it. I don't know if he's trying to build it. I don't know if he has his own that he's trying to get into the team. But it just like I look at Rochdale and I think, and it was, what was it, 2-3 episodes ago, I said over the next 6 games or whatever it was, I'll take 4 points and an FA Cup win against Western, we didn't win the FA Cup and we haven't got a points in. So I don't see where the points are coming from at the moment, other than but Woking is the statement one. Like, because if the supporters can't get up for any game, it'll be that one, and there'll be more people in the building for that one than anything else. Even if we are playing rubbish at the moment, I think Julian, said it best a couple of weeks ago that even when we're out of form, we always seem to play well against them, and they seem to be doing all right at the moment. They beat Tamworth the other day and stuff, so like we always just seem to do well against them, no matter when they were like flying in the playoffs and we were near the bottom. It was we still done them, and I think that is my only saving grace at the moment, is that we can make it happen, and then hopefully that's the pin that drops to the team, and we can kick on the season. But we need to see a performance. We keep saying it, that like the performances have been poor since Coleman's come in. They haven't been good. Like like we were saying just now, like we haven't dominated a game for 10, 15, 20 minutes. We haven't. We look back at Forest Green in the last 20 minutes, like just put balls in the box. He brought Abrahams on and just put him up front and just bomb balls in the box. I think that was the biggest thing that Tommy always done, was 10, 15 minutes to go. If there's a goal in it, it'll just, the floodgates open. We just bomb balls in the box and we just put pressure on teams, and it looks like, and that was the biggest thing earlier in the season when Tommy was still managing. I was like, we'll find a way out. Tommy will just find a way out. We'll just do it. Now I'm like, can Coleman? Or is Coleman brought in to rebuild and go down and bring us back up? Because if that's the case, we might be in a bit of trouble. Because look at Chelmsford, look at Eastbourne, look at all the sides that have gone down, Dagenham. They're not exactly flying at the moment. So it's yeah, I just don't know. Ahead of Rochdale, I don't see where we get the points from, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the players just turn it on the weekend, and all of a sudden it's all sunshine and rainbows, and we're climbing the table. But I think we're quite far away from sunshine and rainbows and pots of gold at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess it's hard to, well, it's hard for me in my head to get kind of, or look forward to working at home, because I mean, to me, or in other years, it's been like the thing we can aim for and be like, well, if we can just get one over them on them. But with the kind of general negativity at the moment, it's, we've got Rochdale away, Woking at home, then York away. I mean, this is not that. I mean, Woking it basically now has to be 3 points, because I can't see us getting any points from Rochdale or York, and then we go to Alty at home. Oh, and then we start playing, Sutton over Christmas, so we're playing against the relegation rival, and I mean, gosh, it all kind of spreads out from there. And I understand that, yeah, Woking is the easiest game we've had for 4.5 weeks or so. But my gosh, that is a kind of a thing that we need to win. It's not a position I want to be in. Ian, how are you feeling ahead of Rochdale away at the weekend?
Yeah, not optimistic at all. Obviously, I've been on here many times saying, "Oh, we play better against the better teams," but that has not been the case in recent weeks, has it? So I can't cling on to that anymore. I think my biggest concern would be what we've been saying about Coleman, in that he's come in and then obviously this cut short media interview where basically saying that, oh, they're not my players, or, some people won't be here. But he chose to take the job. He must have seen what he was inheriting, and he needs to get a tune out of those particular players. He can't keep, hoping for January or whenever it is that we might be able to bring in some reinforcements. We need some results now. What are you doing to try and get those results, or at least get the performances that hopefully mean the results will follow? So yeah, Rochdale was very hard to see anything other than a defeat, and you're almost thinking, again, can we just get away with, 1-goal defeat or something, and rather than get a confidence sapping 4-5-0 drubbing, which feels very possible with their goal scoring form at Rochdale.
Yeah, and we found out quite recently in March what kind of happens when you let them get one goal, because as soon as they scored the first, they never looked like losing that game. We we may have tried a little bit and a couple of half chances at Rochdale, but that was it. That they limited us to about two half chances, and that was Tommy Widrington's, um, you know, broadly kind of gung ho attack. So I don't know if that's the same. I think that might be the same back line. Pretty sure it might be one change in that Rochdale back line, but yeah, definitely need to. Well, we're gonna have to take our two half chances like we did against Forest Green at home and hope we don't concede three again. I guess because yeah, that's. I don't think we really alluded to it. We didn't really create much other than the other than the two kind of chances against Forest Green. And yeah, like you say, if we are kind of hanging on till January and he's been given, I don't know, some sort of transfer war chest. I don't really understand, but I don't think so. Um, we could be bottom by 1st of Jan. So I mean, it's or whenever the Sutton game is. And I don't back us to come from bottom to get out of that relegation zone by then. So we need to pick up points between then. And yeah, like you say, Ian, we need to kind of understand if there a plan. What are we doing to make us better right now? The only other thing I was going to mention was the Free Up campaign. Is Well, they're doing a campaign on Saturday, so all the National League games will be kicking off at 3 minutes past three. See what they did there to highlight the campaign for getting free teams up from the National League into League Two. This comes as it was mentioned in the House of Commons by the MP for Hartlepool, and you would have seen probably in the news the football regulator chair that was appointed, David Cogan. Lisa Nandy had to come out and apologise because David Cogan had donated money back to her a few years ago to one of her campaigns. So not a great start for this for this independent regulator at all. But hopefully they're going to be the catalyst really to see this. Not necessarily see this through, because I don't know if they fully supported it. We're going to need 72 other teams to agree on it. I guess we've never really talked about the Free Up. I mean, I'd assume because I'm talking to the Aldershot fans in the National League that it's just I want it. But I guess any thoughts from your side, CJ?
Yeah, I'm quite passionate about this one. I I see the benefits of it, but I also see. But for me, I feel it's more of a negative than a positive, because if you give three options to go up, then you give teams with war chests, your Yorks, your Forest Greens, and teams like that better opportunities to get promoted, which only broadens the gap bigger in the long run. You look at the teams that really push for it, it's your Wrexhams, your Notts Counties, your York Cities, and stuff like that. Teams who are worried they might not win the league. And it's the teams that have the big war chest, because all that does is go, oh, well, we'll just put an extra £500,000 into the budget because we got an extra slot available for promotion. And then all of a sudden, teams like us who are scraping the barrel just get further and further away from the opportunity to do that. And then, but what it also could do then is provide more opportunities for investors to come down and have a look at the National League and go, well, there is a better chance of promotion now, and hopefully more teams get more money invested into them. But I just think I'm quite against it, because the other thing as well is it's the be all and end all. It's getting to the football league. It's meant to be hard. It's not meant to be this easy pathway from non-league football to the top. Because if it was that easy, then everyone would do it. But that's the thing. You watch teams come down and they struggle. Look at Morecambe. Obviously, they've got other issues and stuff. But you look at us. We're longest serving team since coming down, and we've probably had three efforts in the last, what are we, 10 plus years now at playoffs. And the rest of that time, we're skating relegation, or we're mid-table. So it's not a be all and end all. It's not a givey that like they the free opportunities. You might see like your odd team like a Eastleigh or something slip into that at one point, but you're never really. It's only going to broaden the league more in terms of separating the rich from the poor, and it just yeah I really disagree with it because at the moment you've got the luck of the playoffs and the best team wins it, and I think that's how it should be for National League, and I understand the argument that there should be another spot, but then we might as well just be Football League 3 at that point. If you're going to do it that way, everyone's pretty much professional in the league. Why not just add the additional, make it the additional league, and then just have the regionals below? Because it separates the rich from the poor even more. Because like I was saying, like it just gives more teams a bigger war chest who can afford it.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I guess the main argument against it is, well, against it from the Football League clubs is mainly that there's no kind of wage cap properly in the National League. So obviously teams can literally come here and spend pretty much what they like uh, until they get promoted. And obviously that's why, but I mean, I can't. The only thing with your point about the playoffs, the best team goes up. I mean, it's not designed that way, really. I don't think in the National League it generally has been. I mean, obviously Notts County are gonna would if they heard that they would be fuming, finishing on what was it, 110 or something. Still, but yeah, I do take your point. I guess that the point that I feel is like important to mention is it's making sure that relegation from the Football League doesn't mean complete like oblivion, or you're going to be facing a huge of problems down the line. It shouldn't be seen as like relegation from the Football League shouldn't be seen as complete oblivion. It should be seen as a bad thing. Yes, any relegation is, and you're going to be playing, part-time teams when you come down, more than likely. But I think there needs to be better kind of support, and the National League can probably do that. Whether that will be enough for 72 teams to vote for it, I doubt. Ian, what are your thoughts on the campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more in favour of it than against, but I don't feel so strongly that I'd be protesting about this, slightly selfishly because we've not really looked like getting promoted. But I think the main argument for me for it would be the fact that we haven't had a team promoted from the National League or the conference, whether automatically or playoffs, come straight back down. So I think there is room for that third. The standard between the top of the National League and the League Two is significantly close enough that there should be a bit more movement, I think. There's other things I was thinking. So I was discussing that again with a few friends who support different clubs, and they were more thinking whether the Football League should actually look to expand itself. So there'd be like 100 clubs and you have 5 divisions of 20 or something like that, that maybe that would be the better way to keep more clubs happy, because you get the various clubs that think they should be up there would suddenly have more chance of being in a Division 5 that is a Football League status. And then everyone else can get on and do whatever it is that they want to do. So that might be a better way. And then some of the clubs that definitely, who are in League Two, who definitely wouldn't vote for it, that might be the compromise. So I'm in favour of 3 up, but I just don't see it happening. I don't think it's anything that's close by. It's too much self-interest. So nice idea, but I think it will be kicked into long grass for sure.
Yeah, the actual likelihood of it coming to pass. I do like the idea of the 100 though. We could see cricket and football come together. We'll get some investment from India. Well, who knows? And also, I think perfect opportunity to get Coca-Cola back on board if we get like 5 leagues, the Coca-Cola League 5 and stuff. That's what I want. I did when I was away with my mates. We do like a categories game where you go around, and we did sponsorship of league and cup in England. And it is great. It's a real walk down memory lane, just trying to get all of the, your Papa Johns, your Virtus, that kind of stuff. It's great. If you get a chance, obviously now you've got to forget all of the things, but someone springs it on you. It's a great little quiz. That is all we've got time for. I was going to mention that the FA Trophy, because we need something to look forward to. The FA Trophy third round draw will probably be on Monday on TalkSport, I imagine, or something, or it'll just get tossed to us or something, as the fixtures are this weekend. Thank you, Ian, and thank you, CJ.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Nice one.